guys, so over the summer I went to Portugal. While I was there, I took a lot of footage, took a lot of pictures, but then I realized that it was all upside down. For a lot of my footage, I used the GoPro and I was super excited. I was like, this is gonna be great. And then I realized that this little handy thing, if you put it this way, then your GoPro is facing up. But if you put it this way, your GoPro is facing upside down. Therefore, I only have a couple of clips from my DSLR, and all of my GoPro clips are useless. I wasn't even going to film this at all, but I did have a couple of clips left, so I wanted to put it together and basically have a sit-down video explaining my trip in case you're looking into going to Europe or Portugal specifically. So since this trip was 6 or 7 months ago, thankfully I kept a journal while I was there, and then in this one I just wrote down some notes that I want to talk about in this video. On July 11, 2018, I decided to go to Portugal with my friend. Before this, for months and even years, I was planning on going to Italy. Right up until a couple months before, the Italy plans didn't happen and I needed somewhere to go, so I went with my friend to Portugal. So before I tell you about my trip and all the fun that I had there, I just wanted to read something that I was looking back at in this book. And it says, Portugal is not Italy, and Italy is not Portugal. When you don't have expectations, you can just enjoy the moment for what it is. External expectations lead to internal disappointments when they don't match up to reality. It's okay to dream, but there has to be a balance. That was my mistake with Portugal. So when I was planning on going to Europe, I had this picture of Europe in my mind. By the way, when I got there, it was way cooler than what I thought. But I was expecting a lot of things that were different. So my reason for pointing this out is that if you're traveling to Europe or you're traveling anywhere in general, just live, just go, and you can make plans. Obviously, you don't want to be walking around aimlessly, but just have fun with wherever you're going or whatever you're doing, and whether you're seeing sights or you're exploring, just have fun with it. I also just want to say that Portugal is so underrated. They literally have everything. They have the castles, the beaches, the great food, the great people. So if you're planning a trip to Europe and you're not sure where to go, I would definitely consider Portugal. So we first flew into Lisbon, we met some of my friend's family, and then we took the ferry over to a little spot called Comporta. I'm definitely going to say every name in this video wrong, so link will be down below to the places. We went to Comporta and we stayed in this beautiful beach house, and we got to stay with my friend's family, which was really nice, and they were all so sweet and kind. So we spent like 2 or 3 days at the beach, and then we took the ferry back over and we went to Lisbon. If I'm remembering correctly, we went to Lisbon on train. When we got there, we started our sightseeing by going to Praça de Comércio. But I have no idea how to say any of these names, no matter how hard I try. So I had a professional say it. So this is what it actually sounds like.
Praça do comércio.
So we started out there and then we walked around a little bit, and Lisbon is so beautiful. They have all the cobblestone streets and it's absolutely gorgeous. But we decided to take a tour bus since we were short on time. That is a great way to see so much of the city in such a short period of time. So after getting off the tour bus, we visited the most beautiful monastery I have ever seen in my life. It was absolutely stunning and the architecture was insane. You know that saying that says the picture doesn't do it justice? Well, this was 100% true for this place. No matter how many pictures I took, it would not capture the depth, the color contrast, or the size of this place. With that being said, I still love to take pictures and make these videos because I hope that just a little bit of my filming will inspire you enough to go and visit these places for yourself and experience all the adventures that I share with you. So after Lisbon, we took the train back to Cascais, and we visited a cute little tourist town and then a really cool rock formation called Boca do Inferno. So my friend who I went with's cousin Philippe was the person who was showing us around the entire time, and I'm really grateful that we had someone like that who knew the area and knew all of the sites that we were going to, because without him I feel like it wouldn't have meant as much as it did. After spending some time over in Lisbon, we went back over on the ferry back to Comporta, and we spent some time with the family that we were staying with. I met this really cute little girl. We were hanging out so much, she really enjoyed the camera and she took a lot of really cute pictures. And since she mostly only spoke Portuguese and I really only speak English, the whole time she was typing in what she wanted to say into Google Translate, and we were Google translating back and forth. There was one point where she wrote in Google Translate and it said, "I know that we can't understand each other because we speak different languages, but do you want to be my best friend?" I just started bawling because she's so adorable. So for our last night at the beach house before we met up with my friend's grandparents, we decided to skip out on the casino and we stayed back, just the two of us. We took out some bikes and we rode around just as the sun had settled, and it was such a nice and peaceful way to end our trip with this side of the family. So once we met up with my friend's grandparents, we decided to take a little bit of a break from the beaches, and we went to a medieval festival in a castle. While we were there, we saw this guy playing accordion and singing, and he was truly one of the most talented singers and musicians that I've ever seen in my entire life. The next day we went down south to Algarve, and there we got to see so many cool caves, and we took a boat ride where we went through the caves, and we got to see some pretty clear waters and amazing beaches. So the caves that we were actually visiting were Benagil caves? Benagil caves. This is where I thought that I had all this amazing footage, but it turns out that I was recording the boat, not the caves. I would actually really like to go back here because although we got to see all the caves, I actually want to go like into the caves. While we're here, I also ate sardines, which were actually really good, only the bones kind of freaked me out a little bit, but besides that, it tasted good. Something that Portuguese people do that I haven't seen Americans do is they have like a designated like snack time, and this is where I found out my favorite word ever, which is Cascais. It's like these little snails. While up north, we actually visited a little town where one of my friend's grandparents grew up. We saw so many more castles and churches, and this one church in particular was so gorgeous and had such an amazing view. So while up north, we went to a place called Braga, and we visited a monument called
Bom Jesus do Monte.
So for the rest of the stay, we ended up staying with Philippe again, and it was really cool because we got to go back to some of the places in Cascais that we didn't really have enough time for originally. The next day, we got to go to Sintra, where I really felt like a princess. We visited this one place called
Quinta da Regaleira.
Quinta da Regaleira. And it's this really cool place. It has a really cool well and a tower, and if you look up a lot of the pictures from Sintra, you'll definitely see the well. tried to make it to Pena Palace, which is another big thing to do in Sintra, but it started to rain and it actually closed before we were able to get there. But that's okay, we'll just go next time I visit. But driving up to Pena Palace was crazy. The road is so steep and so windy. I really thought that I was holding on for dear life, especially the way that Philippe drives. So it was approaching the end of our trip, and Philippe really wanted to show Em and I Lisbon at night, so we ended up going back to Lisbon, and it is a complete different experience than during the day. By the way, the nightlife is quite poppin' in Lisbon at night. I feel like that SpongeBob scene where it's like, doing the dishes at night, washing the floor at night, going to Lisbon at night, you know what I'm saying? No? Okay. Do you know what I'm talking about? Oh, SpongeBob! I'm telling you.
Hey, Squidward, guess what? I'm chopping lettuce at night.
I told you. So even though this trip turned out way different than I expected it to, I really had a great time, and I'm so thankful that I was able to go with my friends and meet new friends while I was there. Something that I wish that we had more in US that I really noticed in Portugal was the family aspect. And while I was there, it didn't matter if anyone was old or young, they were always joking, smiling, and laughing together. So that was my first experience in Portugal. I hope to have many more and travel to so many more places and bring you guys along and hopefully inspire you to take your own adventures. So if you'd like to see more, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and go over to my Instagram because I'm usually not 6 or 7 months late on my pictures. But once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!